East Hampton Village Board, you are live.
All right, thank you very much, everybody. Today is February.
Nice.
Today is Friday, June 16th, 2023. Welcome, everybody, to today's East Hampton Village Board meeting. If we could just stand for a pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody. Be seated. All right, first up, we're going to have the Chief of Police give us a little update on Juneteenth, which is this Monday, this coming Monday. Could you step to the podium, please? I have many questions for you. No, I have.
Good morning, and thank you. I'm here to announce today and mention briefly that the village will be, for the second year in a row, hosting our Juneteenth celebration locally in East Hampton Village, actually, in Herrick Park. And we are doing that in association with the Calvary Baptist Church, obviously the village, the Anti-Bias Task Force, and the town of East Hampton. This will be noon on Monday, which is the actual Juneteenth holiday. I'm going to just very briefly speak about the Juneteenth holiday. I'm in the presence of a historical, oh, I'm sorry, did I say historical figure? Our historian, so I'm going to keep that part of it brief. Juneteenth was signed into law as a federal holiday in 2021 by President Biden. It is a combination of the word June and 19th, and it commemorates the day more than 2 months after the end of the Civil War, more than 2 years after Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation, where enslaved black Americans in Galveston, Texas, were informed of their freedom. Our involvement here locally came about when our mayor, Mayor Larson, met with the Reverend Walter Silva Thompson, Jr. of the Calvary Baptist Church, and they collectively decided that perhaps we should celebrate this for the first time locally in the village. And we did that last year when we had our first Juneteenth celebration. And on Monday at noon, there will be our second Juneteenth celebration in the park. The event will include speakers, local speakers, who are going to bring some information to us. They're going to talk about Juneteenth, what it means to them, what it means to the community. Hugh King is one of our speakers. The Reverend Thompson is one of our speakers. We have Rabbi from Jewish Center, Josh Franklin, and Arthurine Dunn again, who spoke last year. She is a well-respected chairman of the English department from the high school. And this year, for the first time, we're going to have two students, Maya Sanchez and Maya Tavares, speak. And they're going to discuss papers they wrote on Juneteenth, bringing a nexus between the education and the young folks, and a presentation to the community on that. So we're excited about that. And we will have, for the first time, a live jazz band who will be there. And we are also going to have a food truck on premises. They will be there as well. And there will be some presenters there showing local art, a very small area where we've gathered people. We'll see how that goes next year, and we're going to adapt from there. But this is our format for this year. We've done a lot of reach out to the community. We didn't do any print ads this year or advertised ads, but we used social media, word of mouth, and also the assistance of the Reverend to pass the information to his flock at Calvary. Any questions?
No, thank you.
And again, apologies to you.
Thank you.
Historical and historic are not the same thing. but I just found that out today.
I would just like to compliment the chief because he has done a terrific job organizing this. This has been his focus for 12 months now. And we want to thank you, Mike. You've done a great job with it. And we hear about it every Monday morning at our staff meeting. So an update for the last 12 months. So thanks again. We're going to move things around a little bit before Hugh comes up. If I could ask Drew, our beach head lifeguard, to come up. He has an appointment, so he has to get out of here quickly.
Morning. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Board of Trustees. Jody, do you have the PowerPoint by any chance?
I hope we didn't mess Jody up.
Hey, no, it's, let me see, which one are we talking about? So is it the biodegradable PDF or Herrick Park?
No,
Rowan.
there's another one.
There's another one. Let me see. Did you guys send it to Jody or did you send it to Jason?
I mean, I think both.
Do you want to?
All I
wanna
see
let
right
you
now
go?
is I see Herrick Park findings presentation. I see tomorrow's presentation for Chris.
Did you just forward?
I'll step back.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr.
All right, great.
Yeah, send
All
it
right.
back over to me and I'll have it ready then.
Yeah, Jody, we're going to.
It's Jason running the meeting today, so don't worry about it.
All right, Jason, we're going to skip that presentation for now until you find the video.
I got it right now.
So, Hugh, could you step up?
You want the history of drones?
Whatever you have to say will certainly be worthwhile.
The flags were out on June 14th because it was
Flag
Day. June 9th, the flags were out also. John Howard Payne's birthday, okay? John Howard Payne's birthday was on June 9th, and then 2023 is the 200th anniversary of the playing of the song Home Sweet Home for the first time. If you want to find out more information about this, you have to come to Home Sweet Home. Okay, Herrick Park. In 1914, the East Hampton Neighborhood Association was formed to provide wholesome, supervised recreation for young people to keep them off the streets. One of those people was Mike Tracy. The association leased the pay lot on Newtown Lane to carry out their summer programs. We think this was now Herrick Park. Prior to this, in 1913, baseball games had been played at the Long Lane Racetrack, the Maidstone Club, the Stratton Lot, and the grounds of Mr. Muller. We have no idea where the Stratton and Miller properties were located. Also, there are references to games being played at the new park, which we think was the Payne Lot, which we think is Herrick Park. In addition, we know there was a ball field on Panago Road at the site of the current Yardley Pino funeral home. After leasing the Payne lot, the Neighborhood Association improved the existing ball field, built 3 tennis courts, set up a croquet court and running track, and purchased playground equipment for young children. In 1917, James Ford purchased the Payne lot and donated it to the East Hampton Neighborhood Association. The park was named in the honor of his sister, Harriet Herrick, a revered summer resident. In 1916, the East Hampton Neighborhood Association dissolved and deeded the Herrick Park, Harriet Herrick Park, to the village of East Hampton, and who agreed to share the maintenance and use of the park with the East Hampton Union Free School District. Harriet Ford married Dr. Everett Herrick in 1880. She and her husband were among the founders of the Maidstone Club. Mrs. Herrick was involved in the building of the neighborhood house on 3 Mile Harbor Road. She donated the first 500 volumes to begin the East Hampton Library. And she built a boathouse on Hook Pond and then gave it to the Maidstone Club. Harriet and her husband rode in one of the first automobiles in East Hampton. They also brought Pudding Hole on the corner of Ocean Avenue and Woods Lane. The LVIS Fair was held on the grounds of Pudding Hill in 1929 and later at Herrick Park. So now you'll find out all about Herrick Park from Mr. Peter over here. That's it.
It's terrific. And as everyone, if you don't know, we just opened up Herrick Park after a terrific renovation, thanks to the East Hampton Village Foundation, Brad Billett. And it just looks great. If you haven't been by it, make sure you go by it. The new tennis courts are open. The bathrooms look terrific. And, of course, the softball field. So we're looking forward to the 75th anniversary this August of the Artist-Writers game to be held there. So we're looking forward to that, and it really looks great. So thanks everybody who had a hand in that.
By the way, the drone presentation is ready to go.
Ready to go? Drew? Thanks. Thanks, Jason.
And thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Board of Trustees. So we're here to talk about the implement of a drone program down at Main Beach this year. We've kind of used drones in the past in conjunction with PD. This year we formalized it. Assistant Beach Manager Lee Bertrand will be assigned a radio and a drone unit throughout the summer season. If you could go to the next slide. Thank you. Both Lee and myself have got our license through the FAA, through Part 107. Gives us the right to fly small unmanned aircrafts. It gives us understandings of regulations and rules and laws that are in place. We go through retraining every 2 years. We are working closely with East Hampton Village Police Department. We have training coming up this week with the drone unit. So it'll help us better safeguard the East End waters. Next slide. In rescue operations, we've had PD assistance with the drone in years past. We had a 911 call at an unprotected beach in East Hampton where the swimmer swam straight out and nobody saw them come back to the beach. PD was able to come down and put their drone up in the air. The drones that PD and we use have infrared and one-way communication, so that allows us to speak to somebody in the water. In conjunction with our PWC or rescue watercrafts, we were able to locate that gentleman and bring him back to the beach. So now this just gives the Village of East Hampton, anybody that attends the beach, the ability to have a drone on site a little bit quicker. We've used them for other rescues in the past that weren't of that magnitude, but it'll help us to have one on site, on hand. Next slide. We're able to monitor the rip currents as they pop up. We do have a few throughout the village beaches that are a bit more prominent. They show up in the same spot and they show up a bit larger than the other rip currents. The drone will allow us to monitor them, monitor movement. It also allows, as you see on the slide, to get photos. This helps us in educational materials. In the lifeguard training manual for the course that we have, we use the drone photos to show what a rip current looks like from an aerial view. It's very good. You see a lot of, at the head of every beach, we have rip current information and cards. Live photo like this goes a long way when a member of the public's asking questions about rip currents, and the drone allows us to get these aerial view shots. Next slide. We're able to monitor wildlife as our water is healthier and thriving with more wildlife than we've seen in years past. We have large schools of fish, we have whales. Anybody that's come up to Main Beach has seen the whales, the dolphins, the fish. It allows us to kind of monitor the movement of the marine life, and again, that will just help us keep safety for anybody that's attending our beaches and going swimming that day. Next slide. Throughout the year, we have storms, water movement come in. The drones actually help us keep, note of any erosion that may occur, any shoreline changes from year to year. Lee has been able to get some photos throughout the past with his regular photography camera. With the drone, we're going to be able to see where we're losing sand, gaining sand throughout the season, which will help us in the long run understand the better movement of our beaches. Next slide. We have a lot of events up at the beach, the volleyball tournament for the lifeguards, Tuesday music, the lifeguard tournament itself, the annual fireworks. We have the Memorial Day ceremony. The drone will allow us to get a bird's eye view, not only for safety, but again, for documentation and, safeguarding and just being able to see what's going on down at the beach and give us a better view of where our coverage could be better used as lifeguards. So overall, the implication of this program and having a drone down at the beach is only going to better the Village of East Hampton, better safety for anybody that attends any of our beaches, and it truly is a great addition to all our tools that we use and resources we have down at the village beaches.
Drew, where do you keep the drone?
The drone's currently kept in the Main Beach office. Lee is assigned an 800 radio that is on scan and monitors everything that's going on throughout the day. So should we need to get our drone up and ready and going, he's going to be on the pavilion right by the drone, ready to rock and roll. And then, like I said, PD also has a drone, so we talk closely with them, and we're in conjunction with both agencies.
It's a great idea, because the amount of time you're saving I mean, in the old days, the only thing, before we had drones, we had to call the Suffolk County Police helicopter to help out to find a missing swimmer. This, you're launched, that would take 20 minutes for
Yeah.
a helicopter to arrive. With this, you're, what, 30 seconds, you've got that thing up in the air. And I don't know how long it takes somebody, once they're exhausted, to drown, so time is super important.
Yep.
It's a great idea, Drew and Lee.
Yeah.
Really, I commend you both. It's excellent.
Thank you very much.
Excellent
And,
idea.
the drone we do have has, like I said, it has infrared, so it'll pick up a heat signature from a body who may be submerged for a short amount of time.
That's another big help at night.
Yeah.
People who don't know, like if you have a swimmer go missing in the dark, the only way you're going to find them is with that heat sensor. So
Correct.
it's another huge thing, and that's, replaces, the helicopter has the same exact thing. That's how they find people in the water, or they find people hiding in the woods, is by the heat that the body generates. So another great tool.
Yeah, it's
Even better, the police still, how long would it take the police to get that up in the air?
yeah.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
dynamite.
Yeah, it's a good addition. The drone also has the ability to fly in small level gale force winds, so we can fly it in most conditions that would call for drone or aerial assistance. So it really is a really good piece of machinery and resource for us down at the beach, and I can't thank everybody enough for giving us this opportunity.
Drew, also, could you just tell everyone the range of the drone?
So we're to operate within eyesight, so everything we'll do is within eyesight of the flight or the pilot in command. So
Could you get it down to Georgia for Maine if you had to?
yeah, if
Yes.
we had visual eyes on it, maybe in conjunction with one of our all-terrain vehicles that's able to follow it and keep line of sight with radio communication, but we mainly operate within line of sight for the pilot in command.
But if you had to, that drone could get dispatched to Georgia, or it could get dispatched to Wyborg, 2 Mile Hollow, if
Absolutely.
the emergency happened.
Yeah, so if an emergency happens, myself as well as my assistant chief and captain down on the beach understand that our first priority is one of us is going to pick up the drone and Lee, and then get them down as close as we can to the call site, which would allow us to fly safely within that range that we're able to see.
Good, so we're covered.
Yeah.
We can also designate a viewer as part of. We can designate a viewer as part of a crew. They don't have to be an FAA license. They can operate under our command. So if we have an individual in a spot that's out of our line of sight, as long as we can maintain communication, we can operate together.
It's great. So like if you needed it at Georgia, you have lifeguards on the stand. You could fly it from Main Beach to Georgia, and they could let you know it's clear or whatever. It's good.
And to answer your question also a little better, we do have multiple batteries and multiple setups, so that drone can be in the air for quite a long duration.
No, it's just great because our beaches are just getting safer and safer every year, and this is a really good step.
Yeah. Just going off that comment there, I would like to present the mayor and the board of trustees with the certificate of completion for the K-38 course. 10 of our East Hampton Village lifeguards just completed that course, so we've all received our rescue operator license number through the program, and this was given to us to present to you guys. And we hope to continue training on that, the drone, and everything together. And again, the beach would like to thank you for all the support we have.
Great.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Drew. You guys are doing a great job up there.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks, Lee. All right, next up will be Peter. Maybe you could just give a little background of who you are and why you're here. Sure. For the
My name is Peter Zegler. Bob Beck, who was with me late in February when we gave the village trustees and the mayor and Marcos Balladron and the chief of police a proposal to metal detect in Herrick's Park, which we were granted permission to do. Bob's not here today. He's at a golfing event, a charitable event, a fundraiser, and he's asked me to tell you hello and thank you very much for permission. We had a great time, and we're going to show you some things that we found in the park. And he also asked me to tell you he's reminding the golfers to replace their divots and fill in their holes like good metal detectorists do. So that's the biggest complaint we get. You didn't fill your holes in. So Bob is out there doing his duty even though he's not here. So
very good.
Do you want me to put this presentation up?
there's some slides that we
Yep.
have.
I got it right now.
is there a way you could put up the map? It's my crude map.
That's not it.
No. If you, give me a second.
can
Sorry about
protect
that.
there,
I
though.
thought- Here we go.
There you go.
That crude map?
Oh, yeah, terrific. That's crude map me. That's me. It's a good thing
Right,
you don't have
great.
the north, south, east. That's good you cut out the north, south, east, and west because I got totally wrong. What we did was, after we were given permission, Bob and I set out to just kind of find out what the personality of the property was going to be at Herrick's Park. It's quite large. So before they took the tennis court out and the basketball court out, we had about 2 or 3 days, and we walked around and sort of did a little testing throughout the park. And we quickly realized that after the 1980 renovation of the park, that most of what was in the park is still in the park, but it's really deep, below, probably a good foot below the surface. And we started just finding clad coins and flip tops and bottle caps. And after about 3 hours, we collected our things and just said, okay, let's wait for the tennis court and the basketball court to come out. So this is what we found. And like I said, it's flip tops, bottle caps, and whatever. So we come to the conclusion that the Herrick Park in general, after 1980, that's what's in the park. The stuff that was in the park before 1980 is still there, but it's just down too deep. So we got together with Chris from Land Tech, and he explained when they're going to start taking out the tennis court and the basketball court. So we coordinated with him, and I think it was Monday, they took out the basketball court. We come to discover that under the basketball court, one layer of asphalt was about 2 inches. There was crushed stone. They took out the basketball court, they took out the crushed stone, and then we got down to dirt, real dirt, and undisturbed dirt. So we started finding artifacts, and can you, before you change that one right there, I just want to mention, it says tennis courts on the right, and then it says basketball court to the left. Under the basketball court, that's where we found the artifacts that I'm going to show you right now. The tennis court itself, when they took off not one tennis court layer, 3 layers of tennis court asphalt, which is probably about 9 inches or so, underneath there was a layer of about 18 inches of packed, hard preparation for the first asphalt tennis court to go under. And Bob and I were baffled as to how deep 18 inches was. We dug down past 18 inches and came into regular sand, which means there's no dirt there at all. They must have dug out a really nice base to pour all this sand into to put the first asphalt layered court down. So we just said, okay, that's not going to find anything here. So we moved on to the basketball court. And interesting, the relationship between the basketball court and the Gardner Brown house, which was built in 1740, is about 78 feet, no more than 100 feet away. And that gives us an idea of some of these things we found may have been due to the fact that somebody was living on that property in 1740 when the original house was built. Can you start with the slide of the nickel, please?
They're all out of order.
Those are buttons. Keep going.
You just tell me when.
No, those are dimes. Keep going. Those, no, not that one. Not that one.
Well, thanks for your show.
Not that one. Keep going. Keep going. Yeah, that's it. Okay. No,
Okay.
No? Let's start with that one. That's the Buffalo nickel. That could be anywhere from 1919 to 1935. That nickel right there was made before this other nickel. Can you go back to the other nickel?
All right, let me find out which one was the other nickel.
That's it right there. Perfect.
Right there?
Nope.
Great. Okay.
Yeah. That is a war nickel. And they made those for about 3 years during the war. And there's 30% silver in that nickel. And the reason why they put silver in the nickel and didn't and omitted the actual nickel in the nickel is because during the war they needed nickel to manufacture their war implementations. So that's about 1940 or so. It has a P on the back. That nickel, and then you go back to the Buffalo nickel. Can you go to another slide of the dimes? Keep going. Nope, 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 nope. Yeah, right there. Okay. Back one more. Yeah, good. To the right is a Roosevelt dime. These are both silver coins. And in metal detecting language, the one on the right is called a Rosie. For those who are getting into the metal detecting hobby, it's called a Rosie. The one on the left is an older dime called a mercury dime, and that's called a merc. So you're getting metal detecting jargon 101 here. Okay, now we're going older, from youngest to oldest. Can you go to let's see what you got. Let's go to.
Do you want me to just scroll really fast and you can tell me when to stop?
Sure.
Okay, starting at the top of the order.
You stop. Back it up one more.
Right there?
Great. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. These are flat buttons. Can you go to the next one where you see the back side of the flat button, please? Yeah, that's it right there. These are flat buttons. On the back side is called a shank, where they actually sewed the button onto the clothing itself. These are anywhere from late 1600s to mid 1700s, and they're large. Some of them are as maybe the size of a dime up to, I've seen them the size of a quarter. And there was a lot of these were made in Connecticut, and they had the actual city on the back of the button here, and the ones that had no writing at all were made in England. And these are very common buttons to find. You figure if you're pulling a horse around or something and doing farm work all day and cutting wood, these are going to fly off really easy. And they're usually made of copper or brass. Sometimes the shank is not on it. This is a very common button that was worn in the period of East Hampton after it was discovered in the farm fields. Okay, keep going, please.
1 second. Which one was that?
Just scroll, please. Keep going, keep going. Nope. Nope, nope. Back it up, sorry. Oh, that's good. We'll go with that. Yeah, that's fine. Back it up. Yeah, thanks. This is part of a clay pipe. And a clay pipe, we think that could be tobacco leaves. Clay pipes were pipes used that people smoked tobacco and maybe some other stuff in. Very common in the 1700s. You could find your favorite clay pipe at a tavern on the wall. You'd walk inside, they'd pull your clay pipe off of the wall and give you a clay pipe, or else if you didn't have a pipe, then maybe they'd take one off. And, some of them, the extensions were 1.5 feet long, they'd break a piece off. So it'd keep sanitary, you wouldn't smoke the same pipe somebody smoked before. And that was a whole industry that made millions and millions of clay pipes. And that was just a piece of a clay pipe and part of the actual bowl that Bob and I found just walking through the park as they were digging things up. Okay, keep going. Please, scroll. Yeah, that's part of the pipe too. That's an example of the clay pipe, right there, compared to a penny. Okay, scroll please. Yeah, we'll stop there. These are called rose head nails. Rose head nails are handmade nails. They're very common in the 16 and 1700s. Typical nailer, called them a nailer, person who made nails, could make 2,000 nails a day. Very instrumental in construction of homes and boats and just farm utility equipment and stuff like that. And you can tell because the head of a nail has got 4 different indentations on it. It kind of simulates a rose plant itself. Okay, go ahead, please. Scroll.
All right, that was at the end of it, so I'm going to have to start for the top of the order again.
Again, go right ahead. Keep going. Keep going. There's a round ball there when you see it. Yeah, that's good. That's a musket ball that Bob found. That's called a drop. And a drop is somebody who made the musket ball or bought the musket ball, didn't fire it. The person actually dropped it and lost it. A fired musket ball would have had a dent in it, been disfigured from hitting maybe the bone in the animal, hitting a tree or a rock. And those are very common, necessary to shoot wild game and whatever. So, and those would have been very common in the 1720s, 1750 area in that park. Okay, can you keep, let's see, go a little forward. Let's see, keep going, just keep going, keep going. Just find one we haven't seen yet. Pipe, nails, keep going, keep going. Yeah, back it up to that round thing, little gizmo there. Okay, keep going. Keep going.
Well,
keep going. That's right there, okay.
Okay.
That's called a bail tag. There may be 2 other photos with that as well, but that's laying flat. That bail tag says New York on it and actually says Suffolk. I don't know what the numerations or the graphics are on the other side. That is a tag that's actually seals the bale of goods that were probably imported from England, and they're generally related to textiles. So what they do is they manufacture some textile over in England, and they actually seal this bale tag with wire and wrap it with a destination on it. So most likely that came from England. Those are very common in the 17th and 18th century, and that ended up right there under the basketball court as well. All these items here under the basketball court. Now, let's go to the last one, I believe. Can you scroll? There's a coin there.
That's not the last one. The last one was the other thing. So I'm just going to scroll through, and you can tell me when.
Okay. Keep
That
going.
guy?
That's it. Yeah. But can you find the picture of that? There's a picture of that. It's a new. That's it right there. Okay. I can't remember who found it, but either Bob or I. This is a 1732 British halfpenny. And can you go to the actual penny itself? Back it up one more. There's Britannia. That's it right there. Okay, that's Britannia sitting on a stool there with her shield. That's 1732. That coin was found right there under the basketball court. It's made of copper. It's a half penny because it wasn't a full penny, and it was used in commerce. So, what we've learned by finding all these artifacts in a very short period of time, in a very short radius next to the Gardner house, is that they all relate to that period, the rose head nails, the halfpenny, the musket ball. There were people that had to have lost this on this property, and it's exciting when you find things like this, and there's a lot more to be found. It's just that you got to get access to it, and in the park, it's just too deep right now. But there, I'm sure, anywhere in the corridor of Main Street, any landscape property, any virgin property, you're bound to find a lot more of these items here, and it was exciting. And Bob and I just thank the board and everybody else for the opportunity to uncover these things. I've got them here if anybody wants to see them. And the question is, what would you like us to do with these? Was make a shadow box, or maybe go talk to somebody else? Or
I think that would be great, a shadow box, and we can put it in Village Hall.
yeah,
That'd be terrific.
Yeah, and so I'm sorry I had to rush this presentation, but I appreciate your time.
No, that was great. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right, before we get, Chris, very exciting topic coming up, Town Pond.
Morning, Mr. Mayor, Board, thank you very much for having me. I really
morning.
appreciate it. I was asked to come up to discuss, again, options to deal with Town Pond, the invasive aquatic species. I don't think we quite need to see what it looks like, because I'm pretty sure everyone knows what the problem is.
Yeah, let's not publicize it any more than we have to.
So basically, I know your crews are working hard to kind of hand harvest the weeds that are growing, and the weeds are growing like weeds, quick and hard, and they come fast. Well, Bill and I have been in constant contact with DEC talking about options that could be employed to address this. One of the most reasonable options, and that the DEC and others think will be effective, I think will be effective, something called putting down benthic mats. Benthic mats are basically sheets of plastic that are weighed down. They're pulled out over the lake, and they settle down. They have some weights in them, settle down, and they sit on the bottom. They basically smother the weeds of sunlight and slowly kill the weeds off. And then you move these mats around the lake to kill in other areas. This is a general, DEC allows this under a general permit, so it's not a long, lengthy process. Generally, if we ask them if we're going to do it, they'll probably approve it in 2 to 3 weeks. They'll give us approval with a sketched up map and a plan. Basically, you're ordering some plastic mats, some rebar, and then a crew will basically pull it out, and we've spoken to DEC. They'll let us treat about half the lake, a third to a half the lake at one time. The mats stay down for a period of 2 to 3 months, so you're sure you get effective killing of the weeds, and then they're lifted up and moved to another area of the lake, and then kill the weeds in that section. And then these mats come up towards the end of the season, October, November. They come up so it doesn't affect turtles or other invertebrates kind of nesting areas, and they come up for the season. If there are other areas that pop up in future years, you can take the mats and put them back down again for a few months and treat those areas as needed. So it's a very low-tech way to address the problem. You put the mats down, you leave them a while. During the mats, while the mats are down in one area of the pond, you could still do hand harvesting of the other areas. It is thought that this is a maintenance issue. It's not going to, it will not, these weeds will keep coming back. They're becoming very pervasive all over Long Island. So they get introduced by, ducks who fly in and whatever, another pond and have a piece of the weed on their foot or things like that, or washed down the street. So it's not going to solve the problem forever. The only thing that really does that is having a lake that's so deep that the weeds just aren't getting enough sunlight and die out. So this is a maintenance thing, but it should be fairly effective at treating a large portion of the pond, and then when need be, you'd have these mats where you could kind of treat areas in future years when weeds start to pop up. So I know there are probably plenty of questions. I don't know, Margot, did I hit most of what you... Okay. Any questions that I could kind of entertain and hopefully have the answers?
Have you done this in the past, this procedure?
We've done it. There are a couple lakes. We did one in Lindenhurst, a small area, and it's successful. We have one pending coming up, a 20-acre lake in Yaphank, which we're waiting for approval from town of Brookhaven. DEC's been involved in numerous projects throughout the state, 5 or 6 on Long Island, and again, they say it works. They're behind it because it is effective as a maintenance tool.
Okay. So a lot of complaints I hear is there's no wildlife, ducks and geese or swans, nothing in the park. I mean, nothing in the parks and ponds, nothing in the ponds, right? So the answer for that is that there's no vegetation, correct? Like the ducks aren't going to eat these weeds.
The ducks have no interest in eating these weeds.
Right.
My background is not, just to be clear, what will bring in the ducks, I'm not quite sure. As far as vegetation and food, that's not my background, so I don't want to...
Yeah, no, I was wondering, maybe Billy can talk to it then, but is there a way that once we kill these weeds, that we put something that can grow in there that would maybe keep the weeds out?
More native species.
Yeah.
You can plant some native aquatic species that are local. There's a chance. The problem with the weeds are they come on hard and they will take over and basically take over. So even if you're successful at getting some native plants established, it's unlikely that after a few years when the weeds come back, you'd probably end up killing the ones you want to get rid of the invasives, unfortunately.
So this is just going to be an ongoing maintenance problem forever.
Well, I have a question on that.
Yes.
So, thank you for the update.
Okay.
How long, in your previous projects, how long does it last? Like if you put the mats in a certain area, is it like 1 month or is it a year? Or how soon after the mats get removed?
It's going to last in those areas that you treat. It should last a few years before things start to pop up. The question is whether you get full coverage of the lake. Again, you don't want to treat the whole lake at one time. The concern is then if you have a massive die-off of any vegetation, the conditions, you can get hypoxic conditions, and then you don't have any vegetation absorbing the nutrients that are coming from runoff. So DEC wants a limited kind of control area. So if you treat the weeds in this half today and then pull the mats up, you'll probably get along the fringes, you'll probably still have some weeds that you might want to treat next season. But in the areas that you treat, it's shown to be effective for 2 to 5 seasons before the growth starts coming back in and you need to treat it. But if you have the mats, then what I would suggest is as you see issues, because it's a general permit, you don't need to really get special permission, you treat small areas as they pop up before it. Think of it as a dandelion on your yard. You want to really get it before the head comes up, it blooms, and it seeds all over the yard. So that would be a much more effective strategy to kill most of it in the next year or two. And then as you see small spots popping up, put a mat down for a few months before it spreads.
Okay. Yeah.
When you put that mat down, what happens if there are animals underneath that mat?
The mat is, you pull it out on the surface, there are a few pieces of rebar, it sinks down over a few minutes. So because of that, fish and other wildlife migrate off to the side. That's why DEC allows it. Think of a heavy grade construction plastic, and there is air trapped underneath it as you pull it out, so it just slowly sinks. So over a couple of minutes. So any fish will migrate to the side, and then we'll be putting one mat, and then that'll sink, and then one next to it, and kind of line a few up. So anything that might be under it has time to swim away. Turtles are sort of slow. So again, this method, because of DEC recognizes that, and that's why they have allowed this, because it's been shown not to have any significant impact. I can't guarantee it. I'm not saying the exact movement rate of the turtle. And the mats are still, even though they're down, they're not, it's not really weighted too heavily. So there's baggy room under there, so any animals could migrate still out from underneath it.
It's not airtight.
It's not airtight. It's sitting down really to block.
It's really to block the sunlight.
So it's going to sit on those weeds. Those weeds have some volume and heft to them right now. So most likely the mat, the first few days to a week, it's going to be a few inches off the bottom of the pond. And as those weeds die down, they'll sink another few inches.
That's great.
Any other questions? Okay.
Is this going, I know your company is going to do this, right?
Yes, we can kind of supply the mats, and
Right.
we can work that out with
And moving
Marcos.
forward, though, like in a maintenance type situation, we should be able to handle this
Correct.
ourselves?
Correct. I'd love that, to teach your maintenance crews to do it. I just brought, not much, but just one picture. This is a way to kind of visually see another application where the mat was put down, and basically it basically crushes the vegetation. So
Well, let's hope it works.
yes. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. If you have any
Thank you.
questions, please
Thanks,
let me know.
Chris.
Thank you.
Thanks, Billy. All right, before we get into the public hearings, could we just do a roll call? Lorraine?
Yes. Mayor Jerry Larson,
Here.
Deputy Mayor Chris Minardi,
Here.
Trustee Sandra Melendez and Trustee Carrie Doyle have excused absences. Trustee Sarah Amadon.
Here.
Administrator Marcos Balladrone.
Here.
Village Attorney Lisa Perillo.
Here.
All right, thanks. So let's do the first public hearing. This is about the property maintenance and nuisance.
Introductory number 8, 2023, a proposed local law amending property maintenance and nuisance abatement, section 225-5C2.
Is there anybody from the public who would like to speak? Please step up. Morning.
Good morning. I'm Michael Kretschmar from 35 McGurk Street in the Village, and I spoke at last month's hearing, so I'm going to try not to repeat myself and add some additional information. I'm representing a couple of neighbors. One of them is here, Richard Shilowich, and Terry Roush, and John and Jackie Gearing. And the three of us are affected by a neighbor who has some bamboo that's insidious and has been invading all three of our properties, and it's quite a nuisance. And when we spoke last month, and I meant to say thank you, Mayor, and thank you to the board for taking this on as a topic. We're very appreciative that it's an important topic for the village, and I felt like we had a fairly receptive audience last month. So I think I might be preaching to the choir, but I just wanted to reiterate how important it is for us that we figure out how to fix this problem. And the proposed ordinance changes look good. I think last month we also submitted some proposed additional language, and I'm not sure what the status of that is, if you're able to incorporate any of that. I think the two most important parts for all of us are that the language is very specific on mitigation, containment, and enforcement. And as far as the mitigation and containment goes, if for whatever reason a village resident is allowed to maintain bamboo on his or her property, we'd like to propose that a setback be introduced. Right now, in our case, the bamboo is literally touching the property line and pushing the fence over, and then bamboo trickles underneath. And this is a growth period for bamboo, May, June, and just a couple weeks ago, we all started seeing some sprouts pop up. It grows really fast, like literally over a foot a day. And so I presented some pictures last month of some bamboo stalks that were about 5 feet high. They're 25, 30 feet high now, and I have some pictures on my phone. I don't think you need to see them, but if you'd like to, I'm happy to show them. I also printed out some printouts of some other pictures. We reviewed some of these at the last month.
Yeah, I think, just to interrupt just for a second, I know I've visited the property, so has Deputy Mayor, and did you visit?
I won't, but I'm your neighbor, so I can.
Yeah, so
I can hop over.
we've seen the problem firsthand, and we actually agree with you.
Well, that's...
And I know we did take some of your recommendations from the last meeting, and I know that the building inspector and the lawyer and our village attorney met and did incorporate some of these into the law, the new version.
Well, thank you for that. And I also know that it's public information that the neighbor that has the offending bamboo lives at 176 Newtown Lane, and he was served with a summons back in November. The hearing was postponed several times, but he actually was in court last week. And I did have a quick conversation with the village prosecutor, Brian Lester, and my understanding from Brian is what happened at that hearing is that this person pled not guilty, and his defense is that the bamboo is in a scenic easement that's on the length of his property. Now, I know we're talking about the language for the ordinance, but we also know the language for the scenic easement, which was granted in 1988, 90-ish, I think, 89, says, the language in the scenic easement says that it must be maintained in its current state. And in its current state, there was no bamboo. And I think that we can confirm with some visual aerial photographs from the GIS website that as there were some pictures from 2001 that show no bamboo. So I'm just throwing it out there that if this is the defense that this person is using, and if the village has an opportunity to enforce the easement code, then that negates that defense. So
Well, it sounds like the defense is that it's our bamboo, and we've caused the problem. Right? Is that what it sounds like?
Yeah.
That the bamboo originated on the easement.
It's not
spread
clear to me
into his property and your property.
Yeah.
So, Tom, take care of this.
I'll get it this weekend. So, Richard, do you have anything you want to add?
It's interesting. Here we are trying to help, and now we're the bad guys. So.
Yeah.
No, everything Michael says is true. I mean, I personally have spent, I would say conservatively, and Emma will attest to this, no less than 30 or 40 hours stripping hundreds of feet of bamboo roots out of my yard. Susan, who lived next to Michael, bought the house from Susan, who she never did anything about it. So that yard is riddled with it, and now it even migrates north and south into John's yard and my yard from their yard. You know, they just bought the house. They inherited this horrible mess.
Right.
So, I mean, they really have the worst of me. And, you know, John Gearing, he's been out there just like I
Yeah.
am, ripping our own yards. But it's insane what I've done.
Yeah.
And John, so. And I offered, at our own expense, so had to be 15 years ago, to put in a barrier, but it had to be done from their property. And they refused to let me do that back then.
Pardon me, sir. Could you speak up into the microphone so the people at home can hear?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Rich. You should really step up. And my mistake.
I said that many years ago, probably 15 years ago, I offered at my expense to put the barrier in, but it had to go on their property. And it was, the barrier was going to be an approved rubber product, and that wasn't going to work. As I said, I could put steel, and the steel wasn't going to work because it would rust. And the only thing they would agree with was if I put stainless steel in, which was going to cost me about $15,000 just for the metal. So I said, no, thank you. But I tried to do it, and that never happened. So it's been a thorn in my side for quite a while.
Got it.
So I would be very appreciative of all the help we could get.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's our plan, so.
Thank you.
All right, well, thank you very much. Would you like to see these photos again?
Sure, you can leave them. That'd be great.
I'd like to see.
We'll make them part of the file.
Okay, and they're
That'd be
pretty
great.
self-explanatory, but if you have questions, come on over, neighbor.
Thank you. Thank you.
Was this a scenic easement, or is this just a regular, like, subdivision easement? I didn't know it was a scenic easement, is it? Or is it, Billy, do you know exactly what actual?
When the property was developed back in, I moved in there in 1988, and very quickly, the property got divided and turned into a subdivision. And at the time, it was all just open land, there was no fences, John and his kids played on the property, what have you, and then in the whole deed, it said that the scenic, they created a 15-foot scenic easement, and that the scenic easement was supposed to remain as is, basically untouched, you're not allowed to do anything. Since then, lots of people have planted in the scenic easement and put trees and plants and somewhere the bamboo came from, but it was deeded that it was a scenic easement where nothing's supposed to happen in it. But that was about probably 1990-ish.
Yeah, we pulled the language on the scenic easement, and it's very clear about that you must maintain the current state of the easement. And I think we can know, just because Richard and Terry lived there was no bamboo, but also there's aerial photographs from 2001 that show there wasn't.
Okay, great. Thank you, thank you.
I have one more question. Is there any way to really eliminate the bamboo? I mean,
Oh, I mean, it's a big job, but yes, you can. I mean, it would involve equipment and machinery and...
But does all of it need to be eliminated?
I don't think, unless you can totally strip mine, which would mean that you'd be stripping their yard and my yard. To be perfectly honest, I mean, you'll probably always have some little bit showing up. But if you can keep mitigating that little bit, but, you have to first tackle the big problem. The jungle from encroaching, and then you can start mitigating the little pieces here and there that get missed on properties that don't want it. But it is a terrible nuisance, it really is.
Unless it's all gone, it's just going to keep...
Yeah, and I mean, and if you go to Shelter Island, there was a property on Shelter Island where they had a terrible bamboo problem, and then when you went by, it was like a year or two ago, you were like, oh my goodness, there was they dug out what looked like they were going to build a house, and all they were doing was getting rid of the bamboo. So to truly get rid of it all, that's what you'd have to do. That's probably realistically not going to happen because of all the stuff you'd have to take out in all our yards, but there's got to be a start of something.
And an additional issue is the roots of the bamboo go underground and just hit stuff. Like in the case of John Gearing, it's actually touched, there's a picture of it, it's touching the side of his pool and it looks like it's going into it. And so it can do damage to the foundation of the...
Disaster.
Yeah.
Those photos are great. Thank you for letting us see them. Really.
When you pull the roots out, they look kind of alien, like something from
they
the...
do.
Yeah, there's a picture from Richard's yard, and you can see it. They look like PVC pipes.
Yeah.
They feel like PVC plastic pipes, but they've got all these things protruding out.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, you leave one of those little hairs, and over time, it'll start another, it's nasty.
Crazy.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Anybody else? All right, can I get a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All right, hearing is closed. Next hearing, Lorraine?
Introductory number 9, 2023, a proposed local law amending the code of the Village of East Hampton, Chapter 185, licensed occupations and entertainment.
Anyone? A motion to close?
Motion to close.
Second?
So moved.
Okay, that hearing is closed. Next hearing is our proposed 2024 budget.
Yes.
Is there anyone who would like to be heard? All right, get a motion to close?
Motion to close.
So moved.
Well, hearing is closed, and I just want to thank Dominique and Marcos for a very good job. Thank you. Second year in a row, Dominique, lowering taxes for village residents. Very good. Thank you. You make me look good, Dominique. That's not easy. All right, here we go. Public comment. Anyone? Good. All right, Lorraine, here we go.
All right, resolution number 526 of 2023, approve claim vouchers for the month of May.
Motion to accept.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 527, approve warrants as listed. Guarantees number 59, LoSAP number 60, 61, and 63, General Fund number 62, 64, and 65, Capital Fund number 66.
Motion to accept.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Resolution number 528, approve budget transfer schedule number 7, reference number 7, dated June of 2023.
Motion to accept.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 529, approve minutes from meetings held on February 17th, March 2nd, and March 17th of 2023.
Motion to accept.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 530, approve departmental reports.
Motion to accept.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 531, adopt the fiscal year 2024 budget.
Motion to accept.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried.
Number 532, accept the donation of a memorial bench in the memory of Barbara Weinman, donated by Louis Bergdorf.
Motion to accept.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried, and Barbara was a really wonderful woman, and Louis asked if he could donate this bench to us, and I had no issue at all, and she was a broker with Harold Shepard Real Estate, which is on the used to be on the corner of the Circle and Main Street, right next to Dylan's Candy. So that's where the bench is. Nice memorial for her. So we're happy to do that. And we'll move on now.
Resolution number 533, authorize the transfer of $470,101 from general fund to the fire department. Blanket Service Awards Program, LoSAP.
Motion to accept.
So moved.
All in favor? Passed and carried.
Number 534, authorize the transfer of $105,066 from general fund to the ambulance length of service awards program.
Motion to accept.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 535, approve change order number 8 for Herrick Park Phase 1A renovation project from Landtech in the amount of $24,750 for replacement of 2250 square yards of sod.
Motion to accept.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried. I just want to thank Brad Billett from the foundation for that donation. Really, again, just to clear things up for those people on social media who don't pay attention to anything that goes on, the fire truck was used to water the sod at Herrick Park because the well broke. Unforeseen by us, so that's why the fire truck was used for that 2-day period, so we didn't lose all of the newly planted sod. I know some people are very unhappy that we used a fire truck for that purpose, but we will continue to do that if we need to. So, thank you all. I just wanted to clear that up.
And thanks to the volunteers that took their time
Absolutely,
to go
yeah.
water the lawn.
Volunteers came out and did that for us, and we really appreciate that. Next.
Resolution number 536, approve change order number 9 for Herrick Park Phase 1A renovation project from Landtech Burn Irrigation in the amount of $17,450.40 for the replacement and upgrade of the failed irrigation at Herrick Park.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 537, approve $14,470 quote for vehicle wrapping from Hampton Signs for 3 ambulances and 2 first responder vehicles.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 538, approve the purchase of the following 2 2023 police vehicles from Chevrolet of Smithtown at the total purchase price of $117,651.94.
Motion to accept.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Resolution number 539, approve the purchase of one 2023 Ford Interceptor utility police vehicle from Nielsen Ford of Morristown. Negometrics bid 13428 at their total purchase price of $63,903.56.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 540, accept Amy Daleen's resignation from the Design Review Board effective June 12, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passed and carried. I just want to take a second to thank Amy. She really was a terrific part of that board. Fortunately for her, she has a wonderful new baby, but unfortunately for us, she had to move out of the village. So she had to resign from her position, but she was just a terrific part of our design review board, and we're going to miss her.
Resolution number 541, accept the resignation of Ernesto Cumbe as part-time laborer effective May 30th, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 542, approve the $2.50 per hour pay rate increase to $27.50 hourly for part-time laborer Douglas Pitches, retroactive to May 31st, 2023.
Motion to accept.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 543, approve employment of H.K. Anderson at $18 an hour and Nancy Guard at $15 an hour as 2023 seasonal tour guides at Hook Mill, effective June 16th, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 544, approve employment of 2023 seasonal beach employees as listed per June 2nd memo from Drew Smith.
Motion to accept.
So moved.
Second. Aye.
All in favor?
Ugh.
I'm in favor.
Yeah, me too.
Passed and carried.
Number
It's
5.
really, you wouldn't think it would be so difficult with just three of us, but it actually makes it more difficult when there's only three of us here.
Number 545, approve the 2% increase in police officer Brandon Esposito's base salary as per the PBA contract for college credits, effective June 16th, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 546, approve employment of Aiden Manser as a 2023 summer season traffic control officer at $17 an hour, effective June 23rd, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 547, approve employment of Matthew O'Connor Jr. as a full-time public safety dispatcher, 1, at an annual salary of $78,085.98, effective July 1st, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried. I just want to welcome Matt. He actually comes from Southampton Town, where he was actually a PSD 3, which is the highest rank of a PSD, and he left that position to come here as a PSD 1, which is a beginning position. We welcome him. He comes with a lot of training, a lot of experience, so he should be a big help for our dispatch center. Thanks for finding him. Next.
Resolution number 548, approve the $1 an hour pay rate increase for lifeguard Sky Minardi to $20 an hour, effective June 1st, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 549, approve the $52,679.12 payout to Gerard Terza Jr. to be paid on June 30th, 2023 for accumulated time.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Resolution number 550, approve the $174,769.02 payout to Police Sergeant Matthew Morgan to be paid August 15th, 2023 from the Employee Benefit Leave Reserve Fund for accumulated time.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried. I just want to take a minute to thank Jerry, who happens to be here, and actually isn't leaving the village family, but is just taking on a new role. And I want to thank Sergeant Matt Morgan for all his years of service. He's a terrific young man, and we're going to miss him.
Resolution number 551, accept the retirement of Police Officer Kenneth Brabant effective May 29th, 2023, and authorize the payment of $264,088.74 to be paid August 15th, 2023 from EBLAR for accumulated time.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried. And again, Kenny Brabant, terrific officer, many years of service. Was the PBA president who I had a lot of dealings with when I took office, and I actually hired him as when I was chief of police. So we're going to miss Kenny. It looks like we paid for his house in Alabama, and it looks like
Second home.
So we wish him a lot of success in the future. Next.
Resolution number 552, accept the retirement of Police Officer Theodore Farrow, effective June 4th, 2023, and authorize the payment of $138,040.13 to be paid August 15th, 2023 from EBLAR for accumulated time.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried. one more. Just want to thank Teddy for all his service. Again, I hired him back in who knows when, but we're going to miss Teddy. He has a great sense of humor, and he was a lot of fun to have around, so we're going to miss Ted.
Resolution number 553, approve resignation of Shannon Jones as a traffic control specialist effective September 3rd of 2022.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
I didn't know Shannon, so I wish her luck.
Resolution number 554, approve the $5,010.87 payout to Ann Grabowski, retiring July 19th of 2023, to be paid for unused vacation time, accumulated time, and prorated longevity, to be paid July 31st, 2023.
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Passed and carried. A couple of words about Ann. There's a lot of people retiring, so, you know, we have to give them the respect that they deserve. Ann was a longtime employee. She was actually a part-time police officer with me and the chief way back in the 80s, and we wish Ann a lot of luck. Thank you, Ann, for all your service.
Resolution number 555, approve the $5,082.28 payout to Richard Balance, retiring July 14th, 2023, to be paid for unused vacation time, accumulated time, and prorated longevity, and to be paid on July 31st, 2023.
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Passed and carried. Rich, thank you for all your service. He was also a long-time member of the Ambulance Association, put a lot of time into the ambulance. More recently, he was an ambulance driver for us for his last few years that he was with us.
And fire department.
And he was in the fire department too?
Yeah.
Wow. So, Rich, thank you for all your time. We're going to miss you too. Next.
Resolution number 556, accept the following new volunteer members of the Department of Emergency Medical Service, EMS, effective June 16th, 2023. Jacqueline Dunphy, driver, Richard Sperber, driver, and Meredith Brown, EMT.
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Passed and carried. And we welcome the 3 new members of our EMS. Jackie, I personally know. Of course, Rich Sperber is also a sergeant with our police department. And Meredith Brown is a young woman who is the daughter of Fire Marshal Dave Brown over at the town. So we're really excited to have these new members. Meredith comes in with the EMT certification, so that's going to be a big help. So we welcome them, and we'll have new memories to make.
Resolution number 557, notice to bidders for new gym equipment at 1 Cedar Street, with the bid opening to be held Friday, June 30th, 2023, at 2:00 p.m.
Motion to accept.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried. That's something I have to give credit to the village administrator putting this together. This is going to, when we redo the gym, it's going to be a really special place for all our employees to be able to work out. So thank you for getting that all done.
I did that really with Reed Jones. I want to give Reed a lot of credit for that.
Reed Jones from the fire department was a big help in that. And also
George Wilson as well.
George Wilson, yeah, George Wilson. So thank you all. It's going to be a nice spot.
East Hampton Gym is closed. There's really no, and Body Tech's closed too now, I think, so, or moved, and, you know, there's definitely a lack of places to work out, so.
Well, it's just another benefit we can give our employees.
Exactly, so I think this is great to have a really state-of-the-art facility for our employees at the emergency service and volunteers, so I'm excited about that, and I know all the members are too.
Next.
Resolution number 558, notice of public hearing to be held on July 5th, 2023 at 11:00 a.m. at LTV Studios, 75 Industrial Road, Waynescott, for introductory number 10 of 2023, a proposed local law amending the code of the Village of East Hampton, Chapter 208, Parks and Recreation, Herrick Park, 71 Newtown Lane, tax map number 4.5-4.1.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried. Marcos, if you could just explain what that is for the public, so it's clear what we're doing?
Herrick Park, well, now that we've expanded Herrick Park, we're defining the definition of what really Herrick Park is. So we're just kind of cleaning that up. It hadn't been touched in a while, and then we're adding all the rules and regulations, not with the brand-new courts. Lisa, that's pretty much it, right? I mean, that's,
Yeah, it's just an update.
yeah.
Right. Next.
Resolution number 559, adopt local law for introductory number 8, 2023, a proposed local law amending property maintenance and nuisance abatement, section 225-5C2.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried. One more.
Resolution number 560, approve fee for non-resident half-season beach parking permits at $500 each, effective retroactively to May 1st, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried. That concludes our meeting. Thank you all. If I could get a motion to close the hearing and go into executive session.
Motion to close the hearing and enter executive session.
Close the meeting, rather.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, meeting's closed, and we're going to go into executive session